I'm Jake Mallard, UT Extension in Madison County. We're out here talking about the cotton CSTs, the county standardized test that we have. This year, we've got 21 complete entries in the Madison County plot. That includes your Enlist, your dicamba varieties, and also just some regular Roundup varieties. It's been a very hard year this year to get plots in, as most of y'all know. May come around, we had the early freeze at the beginning of May. We usually start planting cotton the 1st of May. That pushed us back. We did get some acreage in the 1st, but we also had plant stand issues. This plot we're standing in today was planted on May 15th, which was one of our earlier planted cotton CSTs in the state. It's been a pretty good year for cotton, a very good year. This has got about 90% retention we'll look at in a little bit. We're ranging all kind of maturity groups across this plot. We've got some drone footage that will show you how you can see the difference in maturities from up in the air. Looking across this field, you really can't see much of it. There are some issues in this field with leaf spot alternarium. It's been very hard this year on the cotton. As far as yield reduction goes, we're not thinking that there's going to be much of one, but we do have some plots at the station that we put some fungicide on to figure out if there is a yield loss to this leaf spot alternarium. I've gotten many phone calls about it. A lot of people are asking questions. As you can see on this leaf, we have spots all over it. This is off the upper part of the canopy, and it goes all the way down to the bottom. This plot hasn't had a fungicide on it that I know of right now, but this is the biggest issue that we've had going on in West Tennessee with our cotton this year. The insects that we've dealt with this year, we really haven't had that much of a pressure. We've had to spray a couple of times for plant bugs. There's a few fields, hot spots with stink bugs, especially around corn that's drying down at this time of the year, and the stink bugs are coming in. They're usually feeding on your 10-day-old bolls. They prefer those. They're a little bit easier and softer for them to get their beaks through and penetrate. But as you go through and look at your cotton, figure out your yield potential. Our yield potential this year is going to be really, really nice, I believe, if we keep with what's going on. We've got Laura coming in with a lot of rain forecasted this week. We're standing out here and we're getting pop-up showers already. But it's really important that we think about the rainfall that we're going to get as we're thinking about defoliating our cotton, because we don't want the regrowth to occur and have to come back in with another application over the top to prevent the regrowth. So we was talking about the planting. It was very troubling. We basically had 1 week in May to get all our cotton CST plots planted. A lot of producers opted out of CSTs this year because they were trying to get their production acres in. I know a lot of my big growers here in Madison County, they only got roughly half of their predicted acres of cotton planted this year due to the weather circumstances and it getting so late, and they didn't want to have to risk Mother Nature and them at the end of the growing season. So they wanted to have enough growing degree days to mature these cotton out. So they opted to stop planting cotton and go into beans and just keep rolling with whatever Mother Nature threw at them. We always learn from these CSTs. They teach us what varieties grow best where and what kind of locations. So we've got them spread out all the way across different cotton growing counties to understand for our producers what varieties will yield the best on their farm ground. This farm's a upland, just kind of top of the hill, rolling hill farm. Very good soil structure underneath it. We have had a lot of issues this year with weeds, pigweed being one of the main ones, and then we've got our grasses that everybody knows about that are becoming issues too. So we've been in this field, we've chopped it 3 times. I've pulled pigweeds. Matt and Kelly, Griggs and Matt, they've all been out here hoeing, chopping, trying to get the best they can get and keep this field looking the best they can, because the herbicides just wasn't holding. So when we come into next year, we're going to have to think about a little different structure, maybe applying herbicides, maybe pulling out the hoods, using the hoods. I know nobody wants to hear that, but in reality, that might be our best bet at keeping our weeds down. So with that, we'll look at some retention in this cotton and see kind of what we feel like's going on. So as we look in this cotton, we're looking at retention. We're holding pretty true at about 90%. As you can see, you've got one missing here, one missing here on this plant. So you're still loaded up with your money crop down at the bottom. Moving on up, as you know, August 15th is our actual last day for the bloom to turn into a boll, a harvestable boll. So we're past that date by what, 10 days, 11 days right now. So most of these blooms that you see across the top of the canopy is not going to hold true unless Mother Nature gives us an extended fall without a freeze or anything happening. So, but you can tell these plants are matured out. They're starting to lose some foliage on here. The top bolls are maturing out really well. Plant bugs are no longer the issue in here. Stink bugs, we haven't found any. The moths, the eggs, we really haven't found any in this field location. Not to say they're not in other locations in West Tennessee. But overall, I believe we've got a really good growing year for our cotton CST program.